Aging is often misunderstood as something that simply happens to us with the passing of time, like a shadow that grows longer no matter what we do. But science shows that aging is deeply responsive to the signals we send our body every single day through our thoughts, our food, and our movement. The body is not passively counting years. It is constantly listening, adapting, and responding to its environment. Every meal becomes information, every habit becomes a message, and every belief becomes a biochemical instruction. When the body receives signals of stress, neglect, and fear, it shifts into survival mode, prioritizing short-term protection over long-term repair. And this is when aging accelerates quietly from the inside. But when the body receives signals of nourishment, calm, and purpose, it invests energy into maintenance, regeneration, and balance, slowing the visible and invisible effects of aging. Mindset plays a far more powerful role in this process than most people realize. Chronic negativity, fear of aging, and feelings of uselessness trigger stress hormones that damage tissues, disrupt sleep, and weaken immunity over time. The brain does not separate emotional stress from physical threat. It responds to both with the same chemical alarms. In contrast, a positive and engaged mindset reduces cortisol, stabilizes hormones, and supports immune resilience. When older adults believe they still matter, still have purpose, and still have control over their health, their physiology reflects that belief. Confidence becomes posture, optimism becomes energy, and self-respect becomes consistency. Food acts as the most frequent signal we send to our body. Every bite influences blood sugar, inflammation, gut health, and hormone production. Diets built on whole, natural foods communicate safety and stability to the body, allowing systems to function efficiently without constant repair. Over time, this reduces the internal wear and tear that people mistake for normal aging. Poor food choices, repeated for decades on the other hand, create chronic inflammation and metabolic stress that slowly age skin, muscles, joints, and organs. Aging is not caused by food alone, but it is strongly shaped by it. Movement completes this signaling system. The body interprets regular movement as a sign that strength, balance, and coordination are still required for survival. Muscles, bones, and nerves respond by maintaining their structure and function. Inactivity sends the opposite message, telling the body that strength is no longer necessary, leading to rapid decline. Even light, consistent movement reinforces youth at a cellular level by improving circulation, insulin sensitivity, and nervous system health. Together, mindset, food, and movement form a daily conversation with the body. Aging then becomes less about loss and more about adaptation, less about decline and more about direction. The body does not ask for perfection, only clarity. When signals are supportive, repeated, and respectful, aging slows, strength remains relevant, and vitality becomes something that can still be felt and seen well into later life. A nourishing natural diet does far more than satisfy hunger. It quietly shapes how the body ages, heals, and maintains confidence across the years. Food is not simply fuel, but instruction, guiding every system toward either balance or breakdown. When the diet is built around whole, minimally processed foods, the body receives a steady flow of vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and amino acids that support tissue repair and hormonal stability. Over time, these nutrients help preserve muscle mass, maintain skin elasticity, and protect joints, allowing the body to remain capable rather than fragile. This preservation is not cosmetic. It reflects deep biological stability that shows itself in posture, movement, and overall presence. Inflammation is one of the most powerful accelerators of aging, and diet is one of its strongest regulators. Highly processed foods, excess sugar, and poor quality fats constantly activate inflammatory pathways, forcing the body into a state of chronic repair. This invisible battle drains energy, weakens immunity, and slowly erodes confidence as fatigue and stiffness become daily companions. In contrast, natural foods rich in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds calm these pathways, giving the body space to heal instead of defend. As inflammation drops, pain eases, recovery improves, and the body begins to move with greater ease and certainty, reinforcing a sense of control and self-trust. Muscle preservation is another critical outcome of proper nourishment. Muscle is not just about strength or appearance, it is central to metabolic health, balance, and independence. Adequate protein intake from natural sources provides the building blocks for muscle repair, while supportive nutrients help regulate insulin and prevent muscle breakdown. As muscle remains intact, the body feels more stable, movements become more confident, and the risk of injury decreases. This physical confidence often spills into emotional confidence, changing how older adults see themselves and what they believe is possible. Energy levels are also directly tied to diet quality. Stable blood sugar from balanced meals prevents the highs and crashes that leave people exhausted and irritable. When energy becomes steady rather than unpredictable, motivation increases, movement feels less daunting, and daily life becomes more enjoyable. This consistency reinforces healthy habits, creating a positive cycle where better food leads to better energy, which supports better choices. A natural diet also supports the gut, which plays a central role in immunity, mood, and nutrient absorption. A healthy gut environment allows the body to extract maximum value from food while keeping inflammation low. This internal balance often reflects outwardly as clearer skin, improved digestion, and a calmer emotional state. Over time, the cumulative effect of nourishing choices becomes visible not just in how the body looks, but in how it carries itself. Confidence grows when the body feels supported rather than strained, and aging becomes less about decline and more about sustained capability and dignity.
Light, consistent exercise sends a powerful message to the body that it is still needed, still capable, and still worth maintaining, regardless of age. The human body is deeply efficient and will only preserve what it believes is essential for survival. When movement disappears, the body interprets that stillness as a signal to conserve energy, leading to muscle loss, reduced bone density, slower nerve responses, and declining balance. This decline is often mistaken for natural aging, when in reality it is a response to inactivity. Even gentle movement, repeated regularly, interrupts this message and reminds the body that strength and coordination remain important. Exercise does not need to be intense to be effective, especially for older adults. Walking, light resistance training, stretching, and controlled breathing all stimulate circulation, improve oxygen delivery, and keep joints lubricated. These simple actions maintain communication between the brain and muscles, preserving coordination and reaction time. When this communication remains clear, daily tasks feel safer and more manageable, reducing fear of movement and preventing the cycle of avoidance that accelerates decline. Confidence grows when the body proves to itself that it can still respond. Movement also plays a critical role in metabolic health. Muscles act as reservoirs for glucose, helping regulate blood sugar and reduce insulin resistance. Regular use of muscles keeps metabolism efficient, lowers inflammation, and supports hormonal balance. This internal stability translates into more consistent energy levels and improved mood. Many people notice that even short daily walks or light strength routines improve sleep quality, mental clarity, and emotional resilience. These changes reinforce the belief that effort still leads to reward, regardless of age. The nervous system benefits greatly from gentle exercise. Movement reduces stress hormones and stimulates the release of chemicals that promote relaxation and well-being. This calming effect helps protect the brain from chronic stress, which is a major contributor to cognitive decline. Physical activity also supports neuroplasticity, allowing the brain to adapt, learn, and maintain sharpness. When older adults stay physically engaged, they often remain mentally engaged as well, preserving curiosity and confidence. Perhaps most importantly, light exercise restores a sense of agency. It shifts the focus from limitations to capabilities. Each completed movement, no matter how small, becomes evidence that the body is not finished. This sense of agency improves posture, breathing, and self-perception. The body responds to this renewed confidence by maintaining strength and balance. Aging then becomes a process of adaptation rather than surrender, where movement remains a language of self-respect and continuity throughout life. Simple lifestyle habits quietly shape the way the body ages, often more powerfully than dramatic interventions or short-term efforts. Sleep, daily rhythm, stress management, and moments of rest are not luxuries reserved for the young. They are biological necessities at every stage of life. The body performs most of its repair work when it feels safe, calm, and well rested. During deep sleep, tissues regenerate, hormones rebalance, and the nervous system resets. When sleep is consistently poor, these processes remain incomplete, allowing damage to accumulate and aging to accelerate in subtle but steady ways. Protecting sleep is therefore one of the most effective ways to preserve resilience and energy as the years pass. Stress is another major influence on aging, often underestimated because it feels intangible. Chronic mental and emotional stress keeps the body in a constant state of alert, flooding it with hormones designed for short-term survival rather than long-term health. Over time, this state weakens immunity, disrupts digestion, and interferes with hormone production. Simple habits such as quiet mornings, unhurried meals, time spent outdoors, and regular breathing pauses signal safety to the nervous system. When stress levels fall, the body redirects energy from defense toward repair, allowing systems to function more efficiently and recover more completely. Daily routines provide structure that the body responds to positively. Eating, sleeping, and moving at consistent times helps regulate internal clocks that control metabolism, hormone release, and body temperature. When these rhythms are stable, energy becomes more predictable and fatigue less intrusive. Older adults who maintain gentle routines often report feeling more grounded and capable, as their body no longer has to constantly adjust to irregular demands. This stability supports mental clarity and emotional balance, both of which contribute to a youthful sense of presence. Hydration and exposure to natural light also play important roles. Adequate hydration supports circulation, joint health, and cellular function, while sunlight helps regulate sleep-wake cycles and vitamin production. These elements are simple, yet their cumulative effect over time is profound. They support systems that quietly influence skin quality, bone health, and immune strength. Moments of rest and enjoyment are equally important. Rest is not inactivity, it is recovery. Taking time to relax, reflect, or connect with others lowers stress hormones and strengthens emotional well-being. Joyful moments, no matter how small, reinforce a sense of purpose and belonging. When life includes calm, consistency, and simple pleasures, the body feels supported rather than strained. Aging then becomes less about managing decline and more about sustaining balance, allowing resilience to remain a natural part of daily life. Simple lifestyle habits quietly shape the way the body ages, often more powerfully than dramatic interventions or short-term efforts. Sleep, daily rhythm, stress management, and moments of rest are not luxuries reserved for the young. They are biological necessities at every stage of life. The body performs most of its repair work when it feels safe, calm, and well rested. During deep sleep, tissues regenerate, hormones rebalance, and the nervous system resets. When sleep is consistently poor, these processes remain incomplete, allowing damage to accumulate and aging to accelerate in subtle but steady ways. Protecting sleep is therefore one of the most effective ways to preserve resilience and energy as the years pass. Stress is another major influence on aging, often underestimated because it feels intangible. Chronic mental and emotional stress keeps the body in a constant state of alert, flooding it with hormones designed for short-term survival rather than long-term health. Over time, this state weakens immunity, disrupts digestion, and interferes with hormone production. Simple habits such as quiet mornings, unhurried meals, time spent outdoors, and regular breathing pauses signal safety to the nervous system. When stress levels fall, the body redirects energy from defense toward repair, allowing systems to function more efficiently and recover more completely. Daily routines provide structure that the body responds to positively. Eating, sleeping, and moving at consistent times helps regulate internal clocks that control metabolism, hormone release, and body temperature. When these rhythms are stable, energy becomes more predictable and fatigue less intrusive. Older adults who maintain gentle routines often report feeling more grounded and capable, as their body no longer has to constantly adjust to irregular demands. This stability supports mental clarity and emotional balance, both of which contribute to a youthful sense of presence. Hydration and exposure to natural light also play important roles. Adequate hydration supports circulation, joint health.
A positive and curious mindset has a profound influence on how the body ages, shaping not only emotional well-being, but also physical resilience over time. The brain and body are in constant communication, and the thoughts we repeat daily become chemical signals that influence hormones, immunity, and energy levels. When older adults view aging as a period of loss, the brain interprets this belief as threat, activating stress responses that weaken the body and accelerate decline. In contrast, when aging is approached as a stage of continued growth and contribution, the nervous system remains calmer, allowing the body to function in a state of balance rather than defense. Curiosity keeps the brain flexible. Learning new skills, engaging in conversations, and remaining mentally active stimulate neural connections and support cognitive health. This mental engagement slows age-related decline by encouraging the brain to adapt and reorganize itself. A curious mind also reduces fear, replacing it with interest and openness. When fear diminishes, stress hormones fall, sleep improves, and energy becomes more consistent. The body responds to this internal calm by maintaining coordination, posture, and vitality. A sense of purpose is equally important. Purpose does not have to be grand or public. It can be found in daily routines, relationships, creative outlets, or simple responsibilities. When individuals feel needed and valued, the body responds with increased motivation and physical engagement. Purpose influences movement patterns, breathing depth, and even immune function. People who wake up with something to look forward to often move more, eat better, and care for themselves more consistently. This creates a reinforcing loop where mindset supports behavior and behavior supports health. Self-compassion plays a critical role in sustaining positivity. Aging brings changes, and resisting them with frustration often leads to stress and withdrawal. Accepting the body with kindness allows for adaptation rather than resignation. When older adults treat themselves with patience and respect, they're more likely to maintain healthy habits without guilt or pressure. This gentle approach reduces emotional stress and supports long-term consistency, which is far more important than intensity. Optimism does not mean ignoring reality, it means choosing perspective. Viewing challenges as opportunities for adjustment rather than endings helps preserve dignity and confidence. The body mirrors this attitude, maintaining strength and balance when it senses that life is still being actively engaged. Over time, a positive mindset becomes visible in posture, facial expression, and energy. Aging then becomes a process of refinement rather than erosion, where experience deepens presence and vitality continues to express itself through a life lived with intention.